वो बुढ़वा सब जे रहै छै नीचा बात करैत रहै छै तखन ओकरा कहि दे कि नहि जे ओ चाभी के एना कऽ दै छियै यही बुढ़वा नहि दोसर जे रहै छै
ओकरा आरके कहै छै
People, is it audible now? Audible? Okay, I hope the screen is also visible. Okay. Yes, so today's concept that we will be getting to know is right after all of your very few topics related to HTML whatsoever we have discussed till here. So attributes, lists, tables, this is what we have done, and today's discussion will be on forms. Okay, so how to design a form on a UI. Any website or any application that you go in, you will be having n number of forms to fill, right? So here you will understand how to document a HTML form and also to store the information as a user. Okay, collection of information. So for collecting information, you need to perform forms. Okay, so I just want everybody to just be attentive, listen, do not code, just observe and listen. And for today, probably I'll be just leaving you quickly, early, I guess. We'll take the 1 hour slot on Saturday. Yes, this 1 hour extra slot, I'll be taking it on Saturday. Now you will be having the training from 4:15 to 5:15. Okay, people? Yes, so let's get into the folder. Just observe, do not code. I repeat with this because form is one important concept. Maybe you are a developer or a test engineer, doesn't matter. Form should be understood. Okay, I'll go with very slow pace to understand forms. Okay, I hope we had done with maps. Good. So in your basic folder, I'll just create one file, a new file, as say form.html. Form.html. Okay? Okay, let me open this with live server. Yes, now I will make you understand few form elements, also with attributes. So listen carefully. Let's design a form now. Let's say COVID survey form. Shall we do that? Shall we do a COVID survey form, people? Okay. So let's say COVID. Another you want? What kind of form you want? Say what type of form you want. Admission form? Library, Facebook login. Okay. Before understanding that, we'll go with simple one. Admission, I hope everybody would have filled this. So I'll just take this admission. Later on, we will go on adding with the new kind of form. Okay? New kind of form we will just add upon. Now we will just understand the concept. Okay? Firstly, we'll understand the concept. Then I'll be helping you to design other. Yes, the file should be in the basic folder, but do not code now, just observe. People, I'm repeating, just observe. So what is the tag that we had, semantic tag, wherein developer can understand as well as your browser can understand. So for creating table, what was the tag, people? For creating table, what was the tag? Table tag, right? What will be the form tag? itself. Semantic tag, that means the tag itself says the purpose of it. So form tag is used to design the form. What is form? It will accept the user input. Form will accept the user input. So here we have a tag called as input. We have a tag called as input. So just see, if I say input, here my user can write the data. So I can get the user input. So we use input tag. Input tag. Okay. Now let me say the first one is input and second tag is also input. Now are you capable to differentiate between these two inputs? Do you know what to fill in? As a user? No, right? So I should be labeling it. So we will just use a tag called as label. Okay? So we'll be just using a tag called as label. After this. So let me just label this as, say, first name. Okay? So my user get to understand that here I should be giving my first name. Okay, super. So now let's take this one. Let me just take it as name, and here I label it as student ID or something like that. Label student ID. After I'm taking the user input, name and ID, should I not submit it? I'm taking two user data. One is student ID and other one is name. Should we not submit it? Yes. So for that, just a second, let me just put this as student ID. For that, we'll be just using one more input type, not button. We will use the input type. Input attribute is type, and here I will give it as submit. So it helps you to create a submit button. Now observe. I'll just use the break tag also right after this. Okay. Break tag. So what happens? It moves to the next line. Now I will write my first name. I'll write a ID. DYS14 something. Submit it. Are you seeing here? Am I getting anything here? As a developer, we are questioning the user, correct? As a developer, we are questioning the user. So that should get stored. That means we should use few attributes. People, attributes, listen carefully. Okay. So now I will be identifying this input type. See, student ID is also input type text, and this is also input type text. So I'll be identifying each of them by ID attribute, and here I will say it as SID, student ID, and here I'll be giving ID. Okay, so here I'll be saying it as name. Okay, and then I should have the link. See here, I'll be entering the data. Okay, fine. But I should be having the link. Whatever text data I enter here, it is for name. Whatever text data I enter here, that is for student ID. So it should be get connected with the label. So for connecting with the label, we will be using one attribute in your label tag as for. For attribute is used in label tag, and you should pass the same value whatever you have given in ID. If it is in uppercase, you should use in uppercase only. That is also quite sensitive. Okay. In label, you should be using for attribute, and in input, you will be using ID attribute. Okay. I repeat, people. See, in your label tag, to connect between your input and the label, you should be using the same value. I'll be passing here. Observe now. So I have used for attribute. I have used ID attribute. The value I have given SID, capital S, ID. Capitals name, in capitals again name. So what happens? This both get linked. See here, I just click on student ID. Is it directing to that particular text field? Is it directing to particular text field? So what happens? It directs. That means there is a link between this label as well as the text field. If at all you don't give ID, I will erase this for. I'll remove this for in student ID. Check now. Is it directing to the text field now? No. Is it directing now? Yes. Okay. So just remember that foreign ID attribute you give it because to connect between the label and the text field. Anybody have doubts? Anybody have doubts? Yes, few are asking. In label tag, people you use for attribute. In input tag, you use ID attribute. Okay? You use ID attribute. So what happens whenever you use foreign ID attribute, that gets connected. See, I'll be coding it again if you want. I'll just remove all of this. Now, let's take only one data from the user name. That's all. Okay? If I wanted user data, I'll go with input tag. What is the type of the data user is entering? Name. Name in the sense it will be in text format. So I will write it as input type text. So this is what you're getting input field. So user can enter the data. Okay. User can enter the data, but what he or she should enter? So you should specify as a developer. So what you will do? You will be saying it as label. Label. Okay. In label, you will be using for attribute. So here I will write name. I will write name. Now my user is capable to understand that here I should be writing the name. Correct? Yes? Yes? So that is where I label the input field. Now this is fine. People, I click on here. Is it entering to the text field? I click on name. Is it directing to it? Is it blinking here? No. Is it blinking here? No. So that is where we use foreign ID attribute to link with each of its own data. Now here I'll write it as name, for attribute, ID. Again here also I'll give it as name. Now check. Is it directing? Yes? Is it directing to the particular text field? Okay. So you can just say that foreign ID attributes for and ID attribute helps to direct particular text field. Okay. Now let me submit the data. How to submit? Input type, submit. So this will be your HTML code. Input type, submit. So what happens? It will help you to create one submit button. Are you getting this submit button? Yes? Okay. Now I will enter my name. I'll enter my name. Pooja. I'm submitting. Do you think it is, it is catched? Is it catched? No. Okay. You can use button also, wherein you will go with button tag and say type submit. Okay. But it is better to follow input. It is also a user input. Okay. So now I will be creating one more attribute, that is name. Name. Name in the sense it will behave like a container. It will behave like a container. Now I have given ST name, student name. Now check people. I'll write the name. Raj. Submit. Are you seeing here student name Raj? Are you seeing here student name Raj? Yes. So that means in this container ST name, it is storing it as Raj. Okay. Understood people? Yes. Foreign ID attribute is used to link your label as well as input. Okay. Yes, it will store in the database, but later once you learn advanced Java, you will learn something called as Spring or Hibernate, where you will be capable to catch those data from the front end to the business layer and then store it in the database. Okay. Yes, actually I'll give you the WhatsApp group link as well as we have Google Classroom. I'll share you later, but as of now concentrate. Okay, as of now concentrate with this. Anybody have any doubts? Do you want the repetition once again? ST name? Okay. See here, ST name in the sense. Now if I don't give this, it is like a parameter. In JavaScript, you have a parameter, right? Where you can hold the data. Now, if at all I submit the data, here I'll submit. Pooja, submit. I'm submitting. Are you seeing any catch here? Is anybody taking the data after I submit? No, right? So I should be creating one container to store the data. So we will be using name attribute. So here I'll write name. So what happens? I can give the data here and submit it. So I get name is equal to Pooja. Yes, basically it is to store. Okay. Shall we design the admission form now? Did you understand till here, people? Yes. Foreign ID attribute is capable to link between both. This is your label. You're labeling this text field for name. So if I click on name also, my cursor should blink in that particular text field. That means this both are linked. So for that we use for and ID attribute. For attribute you will be using it in label tag. ID attribute you will be using in input tag for ID. Okay, and name attribute which behaves just like a container where you can store it. Later on from the name attribute you can pull the value. All those things will go with Spring and Hibernate. Okay. Yes, or you can also do it by JavaScript. Clear people? Yes, shall we design few more so that you can understand? Okay, so what are the data? Okay. Before that, I just want you to make a note of this all input type. What are the types of input that we might get from the user? Just make a note of this. We will be using, we might ask date time, we collect email, we collect file, range. Okay, so 70% skills of SQL you have, all those. If you write that, the range we can use month, number, password, radio checkbox, all this I'll let you know as in when we move with the designing of this admission form. Just make a note of all this input types, people.
ककन खेली तू? ककन खेली? हाँ हमरो कम में दिया। होते बना का तुले रही थी।
तो बना लेंगे। मटर ला तरकारियों मिला दियो।
नहीं
Yes, people, done? Done? Okay. So there are n number of input types that we can use, right? So let us just use few of them for today's task. So that is your admission form. Yes. Can you just name what is the next one? I just want to collect from the user. Yes, name something. Date of birth. Okay. So let's say I want to collect date of birth. So label. I will say it as DOB, date of birth. Okay, one by one. Input, type. Now I want to collect date from the user, correct? Date of birth in the sense date format. Yes or no? So what will be the input type, people? Date. Okay. This is correct. Now let's say as soon as I click on this, it should direct me to this date of birth and it should drop a calendar. It should drop a calendar directly. So how to do that? Use foreign ID attribute. For attribute here, say it as DOP. And here I'll be giving ID attribute DOP. So your label as well as input is being linked. Yes, is it directing as soon as I click? Is it directing? Yes? Okay. So now here I'll be using one more attribute. After submitting, it should be storing in a one variable. So let's say name and the value is DOB. Now check. I'll just submit one data here. 15th, submit. Is it submitted? Is it taking my data, people? Yes, good. Now somebody said, ma'am, let's collect mail ID from the user. Yes, let's collect mail ID from the user. So for collecting the mail ID also, it is quite simple. I'll just copy and put it here. Let us just change let me make it as mail. This ID is also mail. Okay. What will be the input type, people? What will be the input type? Yes, it is email. Okay. It is email. Remember with that. It is email. So why do we write this input type? Now I will submit mail ID. Gmail. Okay, I'll submit. What is it saying? Is it giving me some tooltip? Please include an @ in email characters. Yes, so it is validating it enough, right? So I'll be making it as sharu@gmail.com and submit. Are you seeing? But just remember the @ is it is just giving us percentile 40. It is giving us percentile 40. Okay, just remember with that. Yes, now let us submit all the data. Now I'll submit it as Sharu. Here's some date and Shahrukh. Is it submitted? Yes, all the data here. Am I capable to connect it? Yes, good, good. But later on in JavaScript, we will learn how to take this data and store it in the local storage. All those I'll let you know later part. Okay. Let us use 2 breaks so that it looks better. Now it is just storing in the local area, but later we can store it in the database. Okay. As of now, we are just designing it. You are capable to see on the URL, right? Here you are capable to see all those. But we can remove from here where it should not be shown on the URL. We can do all those stuff, but as of now, just understand with this attributes. Are you clear with for ID and name and what is the purpose of using? Yes? Are you clear, people? Anybody have any doubts? Okay. So after mail ID, say something. Shall we collect the contact number? Shall we correct? Yes, contact number. So, yes. Now, what will be the input type for contact number? What will be the input type of contact number? Number? Okay. Just a second. Let's change the label to contact. And this also to contact. As well this to contact. This input type, as you people said, I'll give number. I'll give input type number. Just check what happens. Are you seeing here something like size? Okay. So input type, if you use number, it will give you this text field. Okay. Do not use input type number whenever you are collecting number of telephone. You can use TEL, input type tel. Okay. Input type tel. So you can collect the numbers as well as letter. It is going to accept. But again, we can use validation attribute. There are few validation attribute. I'll let you know. See here, we have few validation attribute, form controls, but I'll discuss it later. Today we will just focus on input types and how to design one simple form. Okay, without any alignment and all of those. Clear, people? Yes? Okay. Okay. So somebody was saying, ma'am, let's take gender. Gender. For collecting gender, we'll go with one more input type. I'll let you know. So firstly, let us label. Label. What is the attribute in the label tag, people? Label tag. What is the attribute? For. Here I'll say it as gender. For gender, and here let us mention gender. Okay, and then I'll give input type radio. Input type radio. Okay. You cannot create checkbox. Checkbox will give you multiple. See here, radio. Are you seeing here? Got this, people? This is your radio button. Yes. So here, after this, I'll just put it as mail. And let us take other one input. Okay, that's giving me the tag. Input type, radio. I'll just put it as female. What What is the other attribute we have left out, people? For attribute we have used, which is one more attribute. If I want to connect with ID, I should give the same value whatever I have given in the for attribute. So I'll put it as in small also. Gender. Okay. So I have linked here. See, I just click on it is directing. It is directing. Okay. Now I'll click on female. Are you seeing this male and female both are getting selected? Yes, it should be option, any one out of it, right? It should be an option, any one out of it. So for that, we will be using name attribute. Let me give name attribute here. I'll specify it as name. Okay, before that, just a second. I'll not give the name attribute, just a second. See here, let us click on female and submit it. I clicked on female and submitting. Are you seeing anything? Anything stored here? No. Right? So I'll give the name attribute now. Name, gender. Here I'll give the container name, gender again. Name, gender. So what happens? I click on female, submit. Am I getting gender on? What is the value stored? On. I click on male. What is the value stored? Gender on again. So it should not store as on and off. It should not store as on or off. It should store the data. For that, we will go with one more attribute, that is your value attribute. Value. Here I'll give male. Value. When the user click on this button, value that value as female. Now observe, people. Now observe. I'll submit my data. Click on female, submitting it. Are you getting gender female? Yes. I click on male, submitting. Are you getting gender male? Yes. Okay. Do till here. I'll give you 15 minutes of time. Do till here. Make the notes all possible. Okay. You want from up? Yes. You can start from here. You want to minimize the code? Yes. Is it visible to you, people? Okay. So we have used text, input type text, input type date, mail, tel, radio, few more we will use. Okay. Yes, we will use. Do till here. Yes, on coming Saturday, we will discuss on maps, audio, video, all of those. Okay, you can get through with again maps in Saturday session. People, for an ID, we will be using it to link. Okay. BR tag I have used. See, if I just remove between mail and contact, it will come next to each other. Okay. Both your label tag, input tag are inline. It will take only the content width. It is not block level. So if I want to move into the next line, I'm just using the break tag. Two break tags to give extra space. Two lines of gap. Okay. We can design it other way. For your alignment, I have just done with break tag. Ma'am, I'm using ID in contact. It's connecting. See, gender is also get connected. See here. Once I move here, it is blinking, right? Contact to that text field. Email, it is to the text field. All this is linked with that particular input type because you have used foreign ID attribute. And in foreign ID attribute, here if you give gender in smaller letters, here also in ID also you should use smaller letter. If you have used in caps, you should use caps only. Okay. Yes, it will select mail only, which is the first radio button you have. That particular button, it will just direct. And then you can go with according to the user requirement. Name is equal to gender because male is also a gender, female is also gender. So I'm just connecting one container. In gender container, you can store male or female according to the user data. See, if I give male, it will submit it as male. If I click on female, it gets gender is equal to female. This name, it is the parameter designed by the developer. I had said you once I discussed with forms, I will say the next URL part. Where is that URL? Just a second. See here, in the URL, you have parameter and you have the value. So parameter value. The parameter is designed by the developer and value is given by the user. So you as a developer have designed gender. Gender is just like a container. Me as a user, I'll submit male. So this is the value given by the user. This is given by developer. So this is the parameter or a container you have designed to store the value of your user. So container is designed using name attribute. If you use radio button, it will just give on. For that, you are just specifying value as male. Once you click, the value should be male. Understood?
Yeah,
the person who asked for gender. Got it? Srivasan, can you just drop your code? in WhatsApp group? Check with the code, people. Write accordingly whatever I have written. See here. I can select either one of them, not both. Okay? It will give you the options. Saving the data, don't worry. We will go in future session with JavaScript, saving the data. Now just observe whether your data is getting or not. Okay. Can you refresh your page and check? Srinivasan, refresh your page and check. Okay. And people, it is must that you should be using for attribute, ID attribute to link with label and input, and name attribute which acts like a container to store your users' data. Now, shall we fill this form and see whether it is all data is taken? So I'll give my name, some date, and then I'll give the mail ID, and I'll just enter some contact number, submit. All the data, is it getting stored? Yes, all the data which I have got? Okay, it is just catching. I'm not storing it, I'm just catching it. Okay? Yes. Yes. Okay. So now, we'll do one more. Let's say we want to collect the skills. Let's say we want to collect the skills from our user. Okay. Let's say we want to collect skills from the user. So label. People, I hope you are done, or you need some more time. Are you done with this? Few more minutes. Okay. Okay. So for this, the next one. Let's say we will collect the skills from the students. So I'll write it as skill. That skill. And input type, I'll give it as checkbox. This is also one kind of input type, checkbox. So checkbox in the sense, you might have seen while installing applications many times, you would have checked this kind of box, right? Yes or no? People, am I audible? Yes. So this is checkbox. Now, I'll just make this multiple. Let's say, I'll just copy this. Okay. Now here, what is the attribute I want to get, people? What is the attribute I want to get? Label for skill. Okay. I'll also give ID. Control Alt downward key. Let me give a space. ID is equal to skill. Let us also give name attribute. Name, skill. Okay. So for ID name attribute, which was basic, I have used. So I'll just put it here as Java, Python, Springs, Django, HTML. Okay. So what happens? I can check multiple options here in this condition, right? So I can give Django. See, but here again, what you are getting here? Skills. I checked Django and SQL. I'm submitting it. What is the answer you are getting here? Skill on. Correct? So I should be using one more attribute, the same attribute which you have used in gender. What is that? Value. Correct. Value. I'll just use value attribute. Here I'll put it as Java. Or you can denote it with single letters if you want. Yes, if you as a developer are understanding it enough. See here, SQL, Python. I'll submit. Am I getting skill Python, skill S? Yes. So checkbox helps you to do multiple checks. Multiple options you can select. But in your radio what? You can make it as select either one. Okay? Understood, people? Understood the use of checkbox and radio button? Okay. Okay. Now let's say we want to collect address from the user. We want to collect which state the student belongs to. Shall we do that? Yes? Okay. So here also we will create options, okay? Here also we will create options, but let's say it is like a drop down. Now, yes, we can limit the size. All those goes with validation attribute. There are few validation attributes which I'll be discussing later, okay? We have max length, min length, required, all those we will discuss a bit later, okay? So what I was saying, we want to collect address. So here I will say label for state. Label for state. Now let's say we want to connect with state. Which state? Okay. Or let's say preferred location. That is better, no? Preferred location. You, once you join to QSpider, you might ask, right? So your deployment for your projects may be in different states. You might prefer certain locations. Okay. So for that, now we will create a drop down. Select is a tag, people. Select is a tag which helps you to create options. So I'll create option. Option asterisk 3. So I'll just give options here. Now let me say Chennai, Pune, and let's say Bangalore. So what happens here? You're getting a drop down. Okay, do not code, just observe. You're getting a drop down, yes or no? Yes? You're getting a drop down, so you can select and submit. But after submitting, you're not getting anything. Are you getting anything here? I'm submitting Chennai. No, it's not getting. So what should I do? What should I do? Should I give a container? Yes, okay, I'll give a container. Name. What is that? State. state in the select tag, okay? As well as we will also add ID to link up. ID state. Okay. So observe now. Submit. Yes, I'm submitting. The value is not stored. Okay. So we should also use this value attribute for it. C T B. Okay. Observe here. I just click on Pune. Submitting. Am I getting state P? Yes. Okay. So this is how we create select drop down. Okay. So I want you to do this, and once done, let me know, people. Whenever you want to create drop down, okay, whenever you want to create some drop down like this on your UI, if a client is asked for this kind of UI, you will use select a tag. Clear, people? Clear with this? Yes or no? Are you clear? Okay. So now let's say this is fine. You will just get a group. Now let's say I want to have multiple groups. Within that I have one group. In the sense, I'll let you know. Shall I remove this code, people? Take a snap of this. If you have not code also, that's fine. Just take a snap of this. This will help you to create single drop downs like this. And then you can just select. Okay. You can have how many ever options that you want. Shall I remove this code now? Okay. So now here I'll introduce you one more way of creating a drop down. There is a tag called as opt group. In this I'll create options. Okay. In this I'll be creating the option. Now let me say here I'll just create options around 4. Okay. So label. Here I will write it as let's say Bangalore. People, I hope many of the students are from Bangalore as well. Yes. So you have branches, right? You know? Okay. So let's say here also we have branches with Q spiders. So let's say BTM, OAR, and Rajajinagar, as well. Okay, so I will just represent this as B1 O, this one as R, and this one as B. Okay, people, few are from Pune, is it? Kalyan Nagar. Okay, few are from Pune. Yes, so I'll just label this particular opt group as Pune. I'm labeling is Pune is the option group. Pune is the option group. Again, in that you have several options. So I'll just take around 3. Option asterisk 3. Okay. So this one I'll give it as Deccan. Adapter. Wakad. Okay. So what happens in the state? Thane also. Okay. In the state again we have divisions. So I'll just give it as DHW. So what happens? This will also create a drop down itself. But do you observe here? In Bangalore, I have so much. In Pune, I have so much. That means it is creating one opt group and providing you the option. So this is the other way of creating a drop down. Clear, people? Earlier we just had one like this. Now inside opt group you have one. Okay. So just observe with this. Here you will be using tags, select, option, opt group, all these are tags. It is not your input type. It is not your input type to create a drop down, but it is a tag. You want the previous one once? Okay, if you want, I'll do for you once again. It is very simple. You just say select, and inside the select, just create options, option, or let me copy the same options here. That's it. You can label, all those can be done. So this will create a simple drop down like this, wherein you just check with anything you can just submit. But here you will get opt group and options. Yes, that also shows you the drop down itself. But here you have a particular opt group. Bangalore is one group. In that you have many options. Pune is one group, and in that again you have many options. So that is your opt group. If you see in many applications, let's say in Share Chat, in there also you have, and then in your Amazon also you have. Okay, just check with the websites, you will be having something like this. Especially in the government website, wherever you want to say tax payment, banking website, all those you get the drop down. Okay, now just understand how to create a drop down. There are two ways. Opt group also you can create, or just multiple options also you can give. Clear, people? Yes? Shall we move to the next one, or you will code for this? Okay, I'll be sharing you this code in Google Classroom platform. Anyhow, I'll be leaving you by 5 minutes from now. So you can do it. You can repeat it. Okay? Please do repeat. Please do repeat after the session as well. Okay. So I'll be sharing. Just hold on. Now, all this is fine. Now, let's say I want to get address from the user. How to get an address from the user, people? Address. Let me say label What is address? What does address consist of? Input type text. Okay. So I'll give address. Okay. For ADDR. Somebody said, ma'am, use input type text. So I'll be using input type text. Input that I write it. So what happens whenever you write input type text? Input type text. So it will give one text field like this. In address, you have door number, street number, and then you have Nagar, and then you have state, pin code, all of those. So it should be a bit larger one. Here you cannot write each and everything, right? So for that, instead of input type text, we go with one more form tag. So that is text area. What is that? Text area. So text area will give you something like this. Observing? Yes? So I can write how much ever I want. If you want to write summary, if you want to write feedback, n number of lines if you require, you should go with text area. Okay? Okay, people? Yes? Just make a point. After this, I'll just draw one line, a horizontal line. Yes, we can give the limitation also. Like, for example, you're writing a summary about you, only 200 words should be there. You can give the limitations also, and also validate with the limitation. We can do that. Okay. So I hope you got what this text area does. Yes? Okay. And let's say we want a border to this entire form. We want a border to the entire form. We go with field set, people. Okay? We go with something called as field set, which should be written right after your opening tag of form, field set, and the closing tag to be closed before closing of your form tag. Before closing of your form tag, you should use this field set, so which will help you to draw one border across your form. And later you can reduce height and width of that field set. All those can be done, CSS part. But it will give you one border. Okay, field set. What is the purpose of using field set tag? It gives the border around the form that you have created. And after field set, you can also use something called as legend. Legend. Okay. So let's say, what is this? Admission form. Admission form. Along with the border, are you seeing here? It is just like a tag. Yes? Is it just like a tag? Yes. So for that, you can go with legend. For that, you can go with legend. And if at all you want to reset your form, you can use input type reset. Input type reset. Okay? Yes? So if at all I have filled the form and I want to I can reset it. Okay? So it removes all. So that is where we use input type reset. Clear, people? Yes? Can you all just say me? I'll just ask you a few questions. So what is the tag that we use to create form? What is the tag that I use to create form? form tags. Super. If I want to get user data, which tag should I use in HTML? I want to collect user data. Input tag. I'm getting the user input. So I will be using input tag. Perfect. So now, let's say I want to get the type as text. Name is in text. So I write it in text. So that I should be receiving. What will be the input type? Text. What will be the input type for date of birth? Date of birth? Date. Email ID? Email ID? Not mail. Email. Okay? Email. Yes. Contact? Contact? Tell. And what is this button, people? Radio. Yes. Radio, the main purpose is you can select either of the options. So that is where we go with radio buttons. Only one option to be selected. If you see in your Google form, MCQs, Google form that you get, there also it is radio button. And this one is checkbox. So you can select multiple option. So here you can create drop down using selected tag, not input type, selected tag. To collect the address, what is it, people? To collect the address, what is the tag?
3 बजे के बाद जरा
Text area. And input type submit reset. Don't worry, we will discuss on few more for next 3 days. I'll help you to design at least 4 to 5 what is this? Forms. Okay? We will design at least 4 to 5 forms. This is not the end, and we have much more to discuss. We have something called as form controls. All of those. Yes, somebody is asking, ma'am, how to create search bar. Yes, we can also create search bar using forms. You need the code? I'll just provide you. Just a second. And yes, many are asking WhatsApp group link. So what I will be doing is I'll just put into the classroom. So those who want to join, you can join, which will be always available in your classroom. Okay. People, I have just introduced to the form. I have not yet completed the form. Okay? I have not yet completed the form. Who has done this? Greater Chennai Corporation. Good. Good, good, good. Good, very good. Who is this? Darshana. Really good. Good efforts. Perfect, people. Good. But in forms, we will perform much more because forms is quite important to any website that you take. And I hope you have clearly understood what is the purpose of using for attribute, ID attribute, name attribute, value attribute. Anybody have any doubts? Any doubts with for ID value? No? Okay. Today you don't have any work. You can just, just go through with this. But tomorrow I will give you few more tasks to be done. Please do perform those tasks. Okay? Yes? Yes, Darshan. Please join into the class. Okay, yeah. Okay, so just a second, people. I'll show you the WhatsApp group link as well. Okay, I hope you have received the code. And tomorrow we will be discussing it as I'm just quick with some other work. I'll be just joining you again. But don't worry, your form will be clearly understood. We will do few more activities on it. So that will help you to connect much more with form. But as of now, can anybody say me what is the use of all the attributes for an ID? For an ID. Leave that WhatsApp group link, I'll share. Yes, it is directing to that particular link. Good. What is the use of ID attribute?
ट्रांसफर करा देते रहने बेटा के नाम पर करा दे
Direct to the field. Correct. What is the use of name attribute? Name. Yes, to catch the values. It just acts like a container to store the value. Perfect. And in your radio button, why do I use value attribute? Yes, radio button is to choose either of the option. Why value? Yes, instead of on and off, I should be storing the real value. So that is where we go with value attribute. Okay. People, I'll show the class code. You can check the class code and join it. And the others, yes, they have one small requirement. Just listen to the requirement and then I'll let you know what to be done. Okay. So this is your class code NE7H2VY. Got it, people? Yes? Okay. Just listen to the requirement for a minute. They'll just let you know.
ओ कहत रहे कि जे की करिए नहा के बोनस क दिए हम कहले बोनस क की करबो सब थोड़े
Thank you, ma'am. Students, this is Darshan from HR team. I am sharing a PPT presentation. Hope it's visible to everyone. If it's visible, can I have a reply in the chat? Yes. Okay. We have a requirement for software trainee, full stack web developer. Job location is in Hyderabad. It is an offline interview. Skills required are Java, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Knowledge on OOPS concepts. Salary package will be 1.8 LPA to 2.4 LPA based on interview performance. There will be 3 years bond. You have to submit 10th original education document. Interview data, that is 3rd February 2023. Qualifications will be BE and BTech. Year of pass is from 2019 to 22. And moving on to the next requirement. The next requirement is as a junior tech support engineer. Skills required are Java, SQL, JavaScript, OOPS concepts trained. Salary package will be 2.8 LPA. Qualifications of BE, BTech. Streams are CS, IS, IT, ECE only. Year of pass is 21 and 22. Interview date is tomorrow, that is Feb 3rd in Bangalore. Yes, it is offline, not for BCA Nishant. And the next requirement is for software intern. Candidates with course completion is mandatory. Skills required are core Java candidates. Course completion is mandatory. Candidates should be technically excellent with good communication. OOPS, data structures, any programming languages. Salary package will be 3 LPA, CTC. Bond will be, there will be no bond. And interview will be scheduled on tomorrow, 3rd February. Interview will be BE, BTech, BCA, CSE, IT, ECE and ENC. From any stream is fine, but you need to have minimum 60% in your academics. It is offline. It is offline. And stream can be any. Darshana, it is offline. Location, you can, if you're interested, you can call on the HR number. We will let you know about the location. But it is in Bangalore itself. And we are starting new batches. That is Nandini ma'am's manual testing from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and evening batch at 7 to 9. Puneet sir will be taking morning batch 7 to 9. Manju will be taking core Java morning 7 to 9. And Swati Sinha will be taking core Java morning and evening batches. Avya ma'am will be taking Python morning batch.
अच्छा पीछे बोलिए
Pavan will be taking Python morning 10 to 12 and evening 7 to 9 p.m. batches. I will be sharing the link of the classes. Students, you can join the classes.
केना लऽ जेतै तब ने
लऽ नहि जेतै तऽ अहाँके तामे नहि किछु खेतै पीतै
राति कऽ लऽ जेतै केना वएह ने
रातिके तऽ नहि लऽ जेतै हमरा बुझने तऽ रातिके
हाँ
नहि
नहीं लऽ
अहाँके 6 बाजि जेतै जखने भगवान डूबि गेलखिन
चलू देखिए की करै छी
हाँ कह हाँ गेलै दीदा जकाँ कहै छै नहा लै छियै आ नहा के खाना बना लिए हम कहलियै ये खाना बना के देबै से के खायत अहाँके खाना ओहे हम कहलियै ये ओकर घरमे जा तक दाह संस्कार नहि हेतै तऽ ओ खाना के खायत बड्ड मने इएह एना ने तऽ दूध गरम कऽ कऽ दऽ आइयो ग सेब खरीद के बिस्किट खरीद के धियापुता अपन खेतै हाँ चूड़ा दूध दियौ
Okay, the last requirement. Yes, Rekha, you can note down the.
6 बजे के बाद नहीं होइ छै
Thank you, students.
भगवान को जखने अथी भऽ जेतै ने डूबि जेथिन तखने किछु नहि
Yes, students, you can leave. The requirements and announcements are done. Thank you.
हम की देखबै
Okay. So people, I hope you got the requirements. Yes? Yes. Okay. So you can leave for the day, and as I said, just work on the forms, and tomorrow we will be just discussing wherein we will design few more forms. Clear?
बड़का
Yes? Okay, people. Thank you all and meet you all in the next session.
हाथ पैर चेरा
Have a good day.
मुँह आर कहाँ दिन